Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Trashed It. I'm your girl Mel,
I am Missy.
and we are continuing this April series of making moves in business and relationships. So, Missy, what's up? How you
Nothing
doing?
much, girl. How are you?
I am good. I am good. Enjoying the weather, ready for the pollen to leave. So, yeah, ready for the pollen to leave.
Girl,
Other than that, good. Other than that,
same
good.
here. Oh,
So,
gosh. I am finally starting a new chapter in all things moi. Yes. Yes.
insert applause. Insert
A round of
applause.
applause, honey. This
Yes,
weight,
yes.
my healthy eating, not even worried about losing the pounds as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to now just taking ownership of my eating habits.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I
I
gotcha.
had to go shopping the other day.
Really? Oh, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
There
Sometimes
were
that'll
some
do
cute
it.
pants out there. I'm like, oh gosh. I told my mom, I said, if I have to move to elastic, then just take me out.
Oh, child, I've been in elastic.
And I'm not talking legging elastics.
Uh, What kind of
Like that
elastic?
brand Alfred Dunner.
Oh,
Yeah, take me out.
oh, oh, those are the mom pants.
Yeah. And we
Those
ain't
are
talking sucker
trousers.
mamas either.
Look, those are trousers. Those are slacks.
Trousers. No pun intended on anybody, but I'm just not
I
there
know.
yet.
I know.
Uh-uh.
So,
I'm not
so
there. I'm
right.
not there. This isn't there. No.
So,
Mm-mm.
so
No, I look like wearing this and I have trousers. Really? No.
right.
Mm.
I'm like just even saying that. I thought about our oldest daughter Nia. So when she was in high school, she had one particular teacher, and she would always say, "Mama, such and such wears gauchos every single day." And I was saying, nigga, that's so not nice. And she was like, no, for real, mama. She gauchos, mama, gauchos. Like, she's not old enough to wear gauchos. She's wearing gauchos every day.
Gotchas. Yes.
Right. And she's a super this particular person is a super slim woman, but I think it was the way Nia would just say, she wouldn't say gauchos. It'd be like gauchos. That was the way she would say it
Hmm.
that would just literally tip me over. Because I'm like, you know what? I am not a part of this. Because
Yeah.
she was like, Mama, if you start wearing gauchos,
Understand.
I can't claim you. I'm
I
like,
understand.
really? Anyway, okay. Do we have anything that we don't really have an opinion on? We're just saying.
Hmm.
I'm liking the new season of Bridgerton. I haven't finished it yet, but I thought I
Of
was.
what?
The new season of Bridgerton.
I need to watch season one before I keep
Oh,
even.
girl. Oh.
I heard it's good.
Ooh, it is, child. It's good. It's good, but it's like, it's some questionable things in season one.
That's
But
what I've heard.
you fall in love with the Duke.
With the
Mm,
who?
the Duke. There's a
That's what
Duke.
I hear.
And then I didn't think I would like season two because the Duke isn't on season two.
Really?
No, Duke isn't on season two. Um, but I decided over the weekend to give it a chance, and I actually am in love even with season two. So,
You want a new season of binge watching because that's not you.
well, that's because
Or
we
not
feel.
really binge watching, but just watching the episodes as
Oh
they
no
are
no 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 no!
on.
Mm-mm. It's the entire season.
Is it
Look,
okay?
don't get it twisted. It's the entire season has dropped.
Okay.
So it's episodes one through whatever that are
Uh-huh.
already on there. I just haven't watched them all yet.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because
Okay.
that whole one episode a week,
Mhm.
that I that messes with my emotions. Like I just
Does it?
yeah, because when I commit fully.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need the whole season.
I think we need to one day do a fun. um podcasts of just all things Mel and Missy, like the fun facts of us.
Oh God, do we really? Do we really want to do that?
I do. I think that'd be fun.
Let me start out.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Like my favorite show right now is Abbott
Like
Elementary.
our deep darkest secrets or something?
Oh no, not that.
Oh, okay. What you
No, I'm
saying?
talking about fun facts. Like hee hee hee.
I don't know. That's like real naked. We want to be that naked?
No,
Oh,
not really,
maybe.
just partial.
Oh no.
That's like
No.
being Zoom naked, right? You good from the waist up.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Do you watch Abbott Elementary?
no. I'm telling you, I can only commit to so many shows at a time. So
You
now
got to
I'm
put this.
doing
You have to watch
Bridgerton.
it.
My son and I, we have gotten caught up with all the episodes of Blacklist from season 1 to the new season. So
Okay.
that's 2, and then my husband and I, we do Bel Air,
Oh,
and
Hunt the daddy.
girl, not just the daddy. That the remix they did on Jeffrey. I said,
Girl, Jeffrey is a gangster.
y'all engaged Jeffrey all that swag. It's like, yes, come through, Jeffrey. Come through
Honey,
all the
Jeffrey.
content. Come through, Melanie.
Girl, honey, between Jeffrey and Uncle Phil, I said, oh.
Well, okay.
Girl,
Let
when
me
Uncle Phil
lean in.
came out in that suit with that turtleneck, I said, oh,
Look,
mercy.
look, let me lean in for all the married people out there. So for all the wives, what we do, and I'm saying we because I know they doing it too. When Phil and Jeffrey are on the screen, we just look straight ahead. We don't do we don't do anything else. We don't do any of the. We just straight ahead. It's how I do when I'm watching a movie with Idris Elba. It's my other baby daddy. But so we have mental note to self. Look straight ahead. Make no sounds. Don't move. Just keep all your thoughts to yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm not married. Oh, mercy. Oh,
I
goodness
know.
gracious. Yeah, Paul say the
I'm,
best. Paul say the
I'm
best.
sure. I'm sure when man manager, when husbander is editing this episode, he's probably gonna be like, "Oh, you're a little excited about Jeffrey, huh? Little excited,
Jeffrey and Uncle Phil.
little excited about Jeffrey and Uncle Phil, huh?" I'm like,
Exactly.
it was just for the podcast, babe. Come on.
Exactly. We're just using it as a prop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, a lot of swag going
very
on
much.
on the
Yeah.
this reboot of
It is good.
Bel Air. Yes, it is.
But the
Mhm.
dad,
Okay, Missy, listen, I will not I will not be a part of this with you. I'm gonna listen to you drool and grovel, and I'm gonna.
oh no, I'm just talking about the dad of when we found out who the dad was.
Oh wait, no, don't tell me.
Oh, you haven't? Oh,
I ain't
okay. Let's go to the next.
got
I thought that's what I thought you were talking. Okay. Mm-mm.
no.
Oh, yeah, you'll text me. What episode are you on?
Oh, it's the one where Jeffrey resigned.
Okay, so it's coming up.
Okay, so yeah, so Jeffrey resigned and was
Just
like,
send me
Phil,
send
Phil,
me the
Phil,
funniest
prove me
gift that you
wrong.
can find in your phone.
Okay,
And I'll know that's
Phil,
when you watched it.
Phil, I hope you prove me wrong. I love you,
Huh?
brother. I'm doing Jeffrey. Phil, I hope you prove me wrong. I hope you prove me wrong, man.
It's already taken care of. Oh, mercy.
Oh, I'm on that too.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Like when he come through and like with his
Yes.
like come on, Jeffrey.
Hey.
Bringing it back in.
We can bring it back. Okay, to the reality.
Yes.
When is it time to
Now,
deuce?
look. Now, I don't have an opinion. I'm just saying there's a lot of swag going on Bel Air.
It
That
is.
is all. Look, I
It's a
have
good
no thoughts. I'm just
absolutely not.
saying
Very
it's
nice
all
show. Very
Missy. Look,
wholesome.
it's all Missy over here.
Very wholesome show.
Very,
Yes.
oh, very, very,
Very
very.
great reboot, remix.
So listen. Oh, bringing it back in. No longer
Don't look into the light,
concentrating.
Carol Ann. Don't look into
Look,
the light.
no longer talking about Phil or
Yes.
Jeffrey. But this April series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of making moves um in business and relationships, right? And for those who have not listened to last week's episode, please make sure you go back and listen. And if you have, then you know the premise is Kenny Rogers, 1978, The Gambler, of knowing when to hold 'em, knowing when to fold 'em, knowing when to run and knowing when to walk away, or
Yeah.
knowing when to walk away and knowing when to
And
run.
then want to run. Mm-hmm.
So on last episode, we talked about knowing when to hold them in business and relationships, and we were segueing into really knowing when to fold them, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
knowing in business and in relationships, like when is it time to fold? When is it time to like let's recant, let's regroup, let's refocus, um, because this is not really serving a purpose anymore. And so, Missy, like you were really kind of on one
Mm-hmm.
because you were talking about church and
Uh-huh.
about traditions and
Absolutely.
how sometimes tradition can cause us, and I think in business
Mm-hmm.
and in relationships, right,
Mm-hmm.
can cause us to stay um, put up with,
Mm-hmm.
be a part of,
Mm-hmm. Participate.
participate in
Mm-hmm. Have an opinion,
businesses.
but I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
participate in businesses and friendships that
Mm-hmm.
either no longer really serve a purpose, are outdated, um, or that just don't make sense for maybe where we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's nothing about the business or a relationship that changes. Sometimes it's us,
It's us. Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So let's kind of let's get into this, right? Like knowing when to fold them. Let's start backwards maybe this time. Let's start with
Mhm.
relationships. How do you
Mhm.
know when it's time to fold them? How do you know when it's time to just like let go of a relationship that's
Mhm.
no longer serving a purpose?
That part.
Well, I guess that's the question then. Like, how do you know when
Mhm.
a relationship no longer serves you
Mhm.
and it's time to just kind of
I think when you see, and I don't mean to cut you off. I'm
fold
sorry.
it.
I think when
No,
you
no, go ahead.
see a change or no change at all,
Okay, what do you mean?
communication,
Mm-hmm.
the spunk, the drive, and I'm not talking the romantic part of it, right? The intimacy part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just being relatable anymore, because I do believe that there are couples. I mean, I've heard married couples, or whether it's someone that things, a talk show or something that you've seen, where they've been married for like 25, 30 years, and they fell excuse me, they fell out of love.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, how can that happen?
Yeah.
But I think just because of all things life, because you and I, life and has been lifing us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
um all things life, where life just the life of individuals now become a priority, as opposed to lives doing it together as a couple.
Say that again. Run that back one more time.
So being a couple, when you hear a lot of couples say, hey, we've been married 25, 30 years, we're getting a divorce, we just fell out of love. And you're thinking, how can you fall out of love? Like, prime example, this pandemic, there were so many couples that you saw that A, didn't know their spouse, or B, it drew them close, or girl, it drove them like, hey, we going to divorce court, like when they lift the mandate.
Right
And
now,
so
can
you're
we do
right,
it
but you've
virtually,
been,
sir?
huh?
I said, can we do it virtually? Virtually, sir.
Exactly. Exactly. And so you're thinking, how can this happen? You've been with this person for X amount of years, and you just now knowing that he doesn't like dot dot dot, or she doesn't care for dot dot dot, whatever that fill
Mhm.
in the blank dot 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 is. And I think it's because that we've allowed life individually to consume us and take us away from the importance of doing it together. That's in business, that's in friendships, that's in relationships, whether it's platonic between a man and a woman, or whether it's romantic. And I
Mhm.
think we just let life get in the way, because I do believe, and again, I love the transparency that you and I have to our listeners, to our subscribers, is that when we have a hiccup moment, or one of those like, something's kind of off kilter, it doesn't seem right, we immediately address the issue. Now, it might not be within 5 seconds, right? But
Right.
it's that
Right.
same week. It can be 2 weeks, like, I'm feeling some kind of way. Man, we've been off. I think we've missed the mark somewhere. And so I think because relationships, again, all things relationships, sometimes feel that way, but either one party or both parties have just allowed life to happen, and they're not saying anything. And
Mhm.
then sometimes I think it's too late to bring it back together. So guess what? It's best just to fold them, because we tried to hold it together, but holding it together, there's some ravels, coming apart at the seam that I don't know if they can be fixed.
Right. So when I think of folding, I'm again thinking about, the gambler, and thinking
Mm-hmm.
of being at, say, Caesar's Palace or the Mirage, or I don't know how to play poker, right?
Exactly.
I think it's a super cool game, and I wish I knew how to play it, but I don't. I know how to I can play from the sideline, right? Like I can
Mm-hmm.
watch other
Mm-hmm.
people, and because I'm learning as I'm watching them, I know, say, what a full house is, or I can kind of tell maybe when a person may have a good hand, or
Mm-hmm.
So I think of folding as, and it's like I see in my head the person that they just they just put the cards down, like they just throw the hand in, right? They
Yeah.
just fold it because they know they lost on that level. They know they lost that hand, but they do not get up from the table,
Yeah.
right? And so I think the same can be said even with relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we may fold in this particular relationship, but we don't fold on, say, relationships altogether,
Exactly.
right? Or maybe we fold on a friendship, um, but not necessarily the friendship altogether,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe that particular outlook we had on the friendship, right? And so maybe we take a step back, we fold on that level, we
Mm-hmm.
fold on the best friend level
Yeah.
to regroup and understand that maybe we can't be best friends in this season. Maybe we take a step back and maybe we're associates, or maybe
Associates.
we
Yeah.
are we are friends, um but I understand now I can't share everything with you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
so for me, it's like we're going to fold on one level, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're folding, we're just out. Like we didn't run, we didn't walk away, we didn't just throw the whole baby out with
In
the
the town.
bathwater. But we did take time to step back and reassess and say,
Mm-hmm.
yo, this isn't what it used to be. Um, or maybe I've changed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the friend has changed, right? Even in even in romantic relationships, I think sometimes no, there's it's not even a sometimes. I think as long as you're in a relationship with the ebbs and flows of life,
Mm-hmm.
there will always be a season of folding.
Oh, yeah.
And I say that to mean there will be a season of rebuilding, of refocus, of
Mm-hmm.
resetting, of reassessing, because my husband and I, right? We're coming up on 15 years. Um, Yay. But
Hold on. I got to do it. It looks like
oh
spider
God,
legs now. I'm trying to do a heart.
yeah, yeah. So we're coming up on 15 years, but in 15 years, we've had some folding moments,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, I'm not the same as I was 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the same as you were 5 years ago. So to keep treating each other that same way doesn't serve the purpose of where our
Exactly.
relationship
Of
is
your
going.
relationship. Yeah.
So we don't fold, we don't like throw the relationship away,
Mm-hmm.
but we may fold in the outlook, right? Or old expectations or an old way of looking at things or looking
Mm-hmm.
at each other so that we can assess like, okay, like, yo, this hand is over. This part of the relationship, like the way we used to do this, yeah, that doesn't really work. So
Mm-hmm.
let's fold on that and let's reassess and figure out like, yo, what works for us now.
Exactly.
So,
Mm-hmm.
those are my thoughts on
Yeah.
folding with both platonic relationships
Mm-hmm.
and then even with romantic relationships.
Relationships. Understand.
Hmm.
Understand. Wow.
Yeah. There's always going to be there you can't be in a relationship
Mm-hmm. And
and
not expect
not
something.
expect to fold them.
Mm-hmm.
Because to fold doesn't say you gave up on it.
That's
It
right.
says you gave up on doing the same thing.
That part.
Right.
Period. Dot.
Right. Yeah, it's like you realize you can't hold them because holding them would be like what do they call it? Uh, beating a dead horse,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? There's no payoff
Yeah.
for beating a dead horse. So you gotta fold them. It's not even a situation to hold anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because to
Yeah.
hold is gonna hurt you, or to hold is gonna be detrimental.
Absolutely.
But sometimes I think we can assess in our relationships and our businesses
Mm-hmm.
that what we have is worth it,
Mm-hmm.
but we can't do it the same old way.
That part. And so now you have to take the time and make the time and take the time and be intentional with the time and finding out now what works now.
Hmm.
Because when you're in business, when your audience change, you change.
Good. And
And in
that's a
relation,
folder moment. That's a
huh?
folder moment.
Absolutely.
I said
Absolutely.
that's a difference between holding because sometimes we can hold too long, which is how we get into tradition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
things that don't really work.
Yeah.
But knowing when you've held it long enough,
Mm-hmm.
and now we need to fold so that we can regroup. Not that we don't still want it. We just
Mm-hmm.
know that uh just knowing that like there's a different way. There's a different method
Absolutely.
that has to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, no, and I think that's a good. I'm just saying. Yeah. Wow.
Mhm.
Well, do we move to our next subject matter of folding?
Well, yes. Yes. Well, okay, so when it comes to business,
Mm-hmm.
and I think mm, Cause I know we're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. When it comes to okay, so let's do folding with business first,
Okay.
right? Um Sometimes, and I think even again, there's no way you could have a business
Hmm.
for any length of time and not have a fold'em moment,
Oh, absolutely.
right? I'm in a fold'em moment
Hmm.
with matter of focus,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Because we've been steady and we've been here, but there's change on the horizon.
Hmm.
And so if I am to really embrace the change, well, I can't hold them, because
Hmm.
if I'm holding, that says I'm not pliable for
For
change,
change, absolutely.
right? So that means I'm rigid. And being
Hmm.
rigid maybe in this season isn't good. Some
Yeah.
seasons it's good to hold them. Some seasons
Hmm.
it's good to just stand your ground, stay right there, because where you are is where you need to be, whether it's in business or relationships, because the return on your investment is worth it in that season.
That part.
But then sometimes as we move forward, knowing, okay, we've been in this space for long enough. Now it's time to fold them.
Hmm. Hmm.
And folding doesn't isn't always necessarily something bad,
Exactly.
right? I I think sometimes we grieve
Hmm. Oh,
folding
absolutely.
because it requires us to retreat
Hmm.
and
And work.
maybe become silent
Hmm.
and go back to the drawing board.
Hmm.
Um, and that can be scary. That can be scary in when we're making business moves, whether it's we own our own business or it's um just deciding on maybe even in corporate America or whatever,
Hmm.
like maybe I just want to make a business move,
Yeah.
or maybe I'm looking to expand in a career field I'm already in, or maybe I'm looking at upward mobility,
Yeah.
right? But there is a season of folding and reassessing, and does this fit who I am today
Today.
and
Hmm.
where I see myself going,
Hmm.
right? Like, does this fit the new trajectory?
Hmm. Hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
And it's deep and it's real and it happens. I mean, I'm in that pattern right now of rebranding everything,
Yeah.
in my coaching business because
Uh-huh.
now I see that there's been a shift. But I think when you stay in tune with your business, you recognize that
Right.
or your
Right.
career.
Would you say that it's caused you to be kind of silent, like to retreat
Hmm.
and
It
just
has.
kind of go into your
Hmm.
own space
Hmm.
so that
It
you
has.
can,
Yep.
figure
Hmm.
out like what
Hmm.
this next season looks like?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And be okay with the next. Being okay with the next, but not knowing what the next is, but
Right.
knowing that the next is not that it's done and over with type deal, right? It's just
Right.
whatever your next is, and it takes us a while to get to the next. It can take 6 months, 6 days, 6 hours, or 6 years, whatever the case may be, but just knowing that your next excuse me, your next is coming.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Um, I think I think it's important for people to really realize, that folding is not quitting.
Hmm. Hmm.
Folding, knowing when to fold them can be, man. That's to me. That's like the chess move. That's a power move.
Yeah, it is. It
And you
is.
have to be really um sometimes bold and
Hmm.
courageous
Hmm.
to know when
That
to
part.
fold his hand.
Whew.
And I'm gonna just sit here. Like I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna watch, like I'm gonna watch these other hands play out. But I know that my season for this hand is over.
Hmm.
And I'm cool with that, right? Because
Hmm.
even if I lose this hand, or even if I fold, I know that there's a new strategy
That
that's
part.
happening, right?
Hmm.
But I gotta give myself time. Because if I keep trying to play this same hand,
Hmm.
I don't give myself time to
You gonna get
download.
tired of yourself.
Right, right,
And you really be, and you'll be ready to fold them permanently and not temporarily, because
right.
the process has angered you. It's made you mad. You
Oh God,
become
yeah.
frustrated. You become that
Right,
uncertainty, and
right,
that's just unfortunately just how life is.
right,
So
right.
yeah.
I agree. So I think, yeah, when it comes to relationships
In business,
and business, gotta know when to fold them.
you do. It all works hand in hand.
Yeah, folding does not mean loss. Folding
Absolutely.
does not mean failure.
Mm.
Sometimes we'll keep holding them because we view retracting and folding as failure.
That, and then we'll hold on to it, as you stated. We won't fold them because we don't want people to see what happened.
Uh-huh.
Period. Dot.
Mm-hmm.
And that costs you so much. Again, it goes back into, well, if your business isn't turning over a profit and you haven't in 9 years or 9 months, then why do you want to keep your doors open? Well, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want people to think I'm a failure.
Yeah.
Or if your, relationship, whether platonic or romantic, is not getting is not giving you the satisfaction that you have been desiring or that you once had. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were getting ready to get married, right? What
Mm-hmm.
happened? I don't see any more posts. Well, life happens.
Right. Oh, but on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think even with that, a part of folding, and this is something you just really don't see a lot of couples do,
Mm-hmm.
especially couples who are, say, on the brink of getting married. Um, because it is absolutely something in hindsight that people encouraged my ex fiance and I to do, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is maybe you're not ready for I do right now
Mm-hmm.
on this original date you have set,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't mean you can't just change the date,
Absolutely.
work more
Mm-hmm.
on where you are in the
Where you
relationship,
are. Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then try this thing again, right? Like that would be folding in a way that would be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, it's like you said, a lot of times we don't want to do that. It's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, 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 no. We're
We want to
holding.
save face.
We want to save face, because if you don't do it now, or we don't do it this way, then it's going to look as if we failed, or there will be gossip, or there will be people to have things to say. But
But it's, guess what? It's
folding,
gonna be gossip and talking anyway.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
takes courage to know when to fold them. People have sat at the poker table and lost a lot of money
A lot.
because they didn't know when to fold them.
Hmm. One big 30 minutes prior, but lost huge
Right,
30 minutes after.
right. By not understanding
When?
that when you allow yourself to fold, you allow yourself to regroup
Hmm. That's true. That's good.
and figure out a new strategy.
That is good.
Now, let's just say, where would the church be? Because I know you wanted to go here. So,
Yeah, we could
where
do that for a couple minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So where, let's just kind of segue here for a minute
Mm-hmm.
as we're talking about knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them. Because and maybe this is what we can, maybe we can go live about this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
But as believers, as people who have not just been in church or a part of church, but have for many years been within leadership
Mm-hmm.
in different church settings, right?
Yes.
Post pandemic, or not even post pandemic, but as we're going into this more of an endemic phase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Understanding as a church the difference between what we should be holding and what we should be and when we should be folding. The floor is yours.
Religion versus relationship.
Okay.
We and it's very near and dear to my heart. You and I have had
Oh,
a gazillion
yes.
conversations
Oh,
about
yes.
this.
I'm like rocking back and forth over here.
Girl, yeah. And it's no indictment on anybody. But I do believe it's just the nature of what we are in now.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at the height of the pandemic, or even the middle part of the pandemic, I was on a panel, and I do believe I made probably some folk mad. For the simple fact that I said, even, the churches have always been our cornerstone, but churches did not step up. And it's not, again, I'm doing a disclaimer. We're not talking about any church in particular or a
Mm-hmm.
specific denomination or church. But
Mm-hmm.
what I am saying is that sometimes the tradition of churches will get you in trouble.
Yes.
We are now living in a digital age.
Right.
You can't keep thinking you can't keep operating in that cassette tape mentality. Hold on, let me turn it over, let me switch it. No, we got to keep going, we got to keep going, we got, because it's going to the next one, it's going to the next one. And things are happening, things are changing. And if the pandemic did not see that for churches, period, across the world, and if you didn't catch up on it then, it's a losing battle if you try to catch up now.
Right.
Because how many churches did we find on YouTube? Girl, I was watching 5, 6 different sermons. 5, 6 attendance, 5 or 6 different churches. One at 8, one at 8:30, one at 9:45, one at 10:15,
Been
one
a
at
member of
2.
everybody's church.
Girl, yes, virtual. Knew the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Things
And
are
so
different.
we have become so accustomed.
Right. We are inundated with this is how we have always done things.
Mhm. Okay, but you know what? People need help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People need help.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't change our thinking process about it, and let's just be real and transparent and get out of the word of operating in church, that
Mm-hmm.
we've been called to operate outside of church.
That would be the foldum.
Yeah.
Because in order to get there and really understand and enlarge
Mm-hmm.
our vision,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you gotta fold them
In order
to
to, yeah,
reassess, right?
yeah.
Because what communities need now is not necessarily the same thing
Mhm.
communities needed 2, 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
And how have access to what they need now is different than pre-pandemic, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
let's just say even if communities, um, I even if communities need say some of the same things,
Mm-hmm.
access has changed.
That part, yes.
And now that people understand, like, oh wow, I can access all of these things virtually. I
Mm-hmm.
can access church virtually. I can
Mm-hmm.
access these resources virtually. Okay, then how then do we as a church, right? And I think this fits into both business because the reality is church can be seen as a business entity of sorts, but it is also based on relationships. It's
Mm-hmm.
based on
Mm-hmm.
the church's relationships in said community
Yeah.
that they serve. Well, when we are able to retract and refocus and kind of just fold them for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Can we fold long enough to assess how do we reach people now? Um, what is it people truly need now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And are we sure that like how are we now defining community, right? Because I think we also were defining community as like right here within a
Mm-hmm.
circumference of say maybe our
Mm-hmm.
physical churches, right?
Yeah.
But if you fold them long enough, then there's an understanding that wow, the community that you've been able to reach has expanded.
Exactly.
And now your community could be all 50 states,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you look at the people who have really been tuning in to
Yeah.
your services,
Mm-hmm.
it could
Mm-hmm.
be international.
Mm-hmm.
But if we say nope, 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 we're gonna hold them. We're gonna right here. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
we know it was a pandemic, but now everything's getting back to normal, and people just need to be in the building. This is what we've always done. You didn't give yourself a chance to hold them and really assess, like, yo, what does God want now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do-
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
listen. I was in church earlier, and the speaker for today, she was a prophetess, and she was talking about, you know, you don't really think that God allowed the world to be shut down 2 years. Now, mind you, she never said he made it so or he caused it
Mm-hmm.
or anything, but that God allowed
Mm-hmm.
the world to literally shut
Shut
down
down.
2 years
Mm-hmm.
for no reason. I don't think the church is exempt from that question,
Mm-mm.
right?
No,
Because
and
like the church as an entity, I
mm-hmm.
do not think the church as an entity is exempt from that question because churches had to learn to do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, you were forced to fold them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
And
some
hold them at the same time.
right. However, comma, I think some of our church entities, um, and I hate to say it, but I believe some of our church entities have been disobedient,
Has been what's what?
have been disobedient
Oh yeah.
in the course of how do we how do we make this thing called Christianity available to people now, right? Because if we say all the time, well, okay, if like what have you done with your time in the pandemic? How have you grown throughout? The church itself is not exempt.
Mm-hmm.
How did the church grow?
You're right.
How, as an entity, did we, as the church, learn to do things differently?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we say we will, things will never be the same post pandemic. Well, how the church gonna be the same?
Mm-hmm. And that's true.
Like, doesn't that seem a little
Mm-hmm.
hypocritical
That's
that
true.
we will say things will never be the same after the pandemic? Everything has changed, everything has shifted. Um, it will never be completely the same. But church want to go back to being exactly the same. your two services on Sunday and your whack your whack viewing, your whack streaming. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I
I'll put that one finger up,
look.
like
I'm
being a church.
listen. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already over here on with little blood pressure cuff thing I got to do. So and I feel
Yeah.
myself getting
And
a
I
little.
think it's a conversation that we need to have. And I would love, love, love. This would be one that I would truly love to have, that you talk about versus battle, like a season versus a one just came in like
Ooh,
post pandemic.
ooh, that would be interesting.
Because we have to change with the times.
Right,
And if
right,
you don't change with the times, you're automatically going to fold and hold at the same time. Because just guess what's going to happen? Them doors are going to be shut.
right,
But I do believe that people, and you said it, a lot of people do not see church as a business.
right,
It's a business, and people
yeah,
don't see it that way.
right.
But
Some
I
people
do
take that
believe
as
that
a
this
diss.
is going,
Some
yeah,
people,
and
some
this is
people
going to
take
be
that
one that we're
as
going to have
disrespectful.
to do another on, maybe even make it a series.
Yeah, I
Because it's
definitely
a
think
lot
the
of
church.
information. But I think we trash it. I do.
I do. I do because that one with church and churches knowing when to hold them and when to fold
Hmm.
them. I think that is it's a very, of course it's a very touchy
Hmm.
subject, but I don't think we can talk about. I don't think it's fair to talk about the rest of the world
Mm-mm.
and how we have to know when to hold them and when to fold them when it comes to business and when it comes to relationships, and one of the main entities that provides a foundation
Hmm.
for many that we don't include that entity,
Yeah.
you
And
know
that's true.
so yeah. Anyway, so I too think that we have trashed it. And again, if you are listening and you have comments, please leave them for us. We want to know what you think.
Please.
We want to know what you think. Follow us. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share to
Yeah.
our YouTube channel, as well as wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. If you have a topic, email us at we trashed it
Email,
at
please.
gmail.com. Um, are we missing anything, Missy?
No, ma'am.
All right.
Just
So
keep coming back.
keep coming back. All right, guys. Until next time, we'll see you.